When you turn to offense, what kind of things would trigger for you to turn to offense? So it's not like when the traffic signal turns from red to green and the put axle. It's not like that. If there are companies that we should collaborate with, and if there are companies that we want to consider operating those companies, when that kind of timing will come, it's more like how we cross the crossroad without a traffic light. There's no pipeline in sight. But when an opportunity comes, we want to be positive. Last year, unless something unusual happens, we would rather pass the opportunity. But this year, if we are comfortable by checking every aspect, then we want to take steps one by one. So it's not like right away we start investing, but it's more like taking opportunities. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Gentlemen, the third row from the front, please. Nagai from Nikkei Quick News. I have two questions, please. So simple question. OpenAI, why you haven't invested in this company? Was there any discussion you turned down, or you are not looking into this company, or what was your position about OpenAI? I hesitate to make any comments. We knew this company, but we didn't make any investment in this company, and there are many reasons why, but I don't want to discuss that further. Do you have any comments, Navneet?
No, I agree with you, Goto-san. No comments.
In the process of the decision-making for investments, I believe that's something that I cannot discuss. My second question is about to confirm with you some facts. Silicon Valley Bank, year 2000, you were acquire some bank, and Nissay Bank and Silicon Valley Bank was also involved. But were there any capital relationship with your with Softbank Group and Silicon Valley Bank? There is no such relationship with Silicon Valley Bank. This time, I recall this. I hear this bank's name, and that recalls me from the back old days. The first job that after I joined the Softbank Group, that it was a demerger of this Nippon Credit Banks. So that was something similar, familiar name for me.
Then the next question. Yamaguchi from Mainichi Shimbun about WeWork. You recorded about 600 billion or so. How do you view? And currently, as a group, how much stake you have in WeWork? Our view to investment in WeWork, you asked. We expected huge growth since investment, and eventually the last support that we provided to WeWork hoping WeWork would turn around. But then COVID-19 took place and property market tanked. So they have been struggling and still struggling in terms of their performance, but we still expect them to turn around the business. Navneet, any comment?
So as you know, WeWork is a public company and we are insiders, so there's limited information that we can provide. Also, WeWork's earnings took place on May 9th, so I think I would defer on the performance of WeWork to their earnings that just happened.
あと持ち分については
About percentage of stake, economic stake. They have been going through a restructuring, but about 70%. They're still affiliate. Any reason why they are still affiliate? It's not subsidiary. Kimioda-san, anything? Well, yes, definitely affiliate as far as classification is concerned. Any more questions?
Thank you. Any other questions, please? Before that, let me add a little bit. As Kimiwada-san said, that's correct. So voting rights base is less than 50%. So please continue. My name is Uno from Yomiuri newspaper. What kind of AI areas are you going to invest in? That's my question. So as an investment company, of course, performance is important for you. And there are maybe many expectations on AI, but at the same time, there are many challenges as well. At the cabinet meeting, democracy is important, human rights important. So there are many discussions regarding basic rights and basic concepts. As Softbank Group, other than performance, is there any criteria that you would like to set when it comes to investment in AI? If you have any, please share with us. That's my first question. And my second question, being offensive, and also, you mentioned about generative AI, but the restart of investment, does that gonna start with generative AI, or are you going to invest in other than generative AI as well as you turning into offense mode? For the second question, let me answer from your second question. So it's not that we only invest in generative AI, but still AI is the kind of a main focus. So anything AI related, and we would like to consider. So it may not be too speedy. We need to be good in selections. And after then, what kind of things will be target for our investments? That's probably too early to tell at this moment. Once we have more use in generative AI, what kind of jobs or tasks may have a dramatic change? And actually, Softbank Group is also known as a lifestyle company. So that's something that we are very keen to focus. How can we change people's lifestyle? So that's same as when we started our business, and there were no any wholesale software wholesale business around the market, and we wanted to kind of create it so that the people are living easier. And then we saw internet, broadbands, iPhones, smartphones. So those are kind of keywords, and how we going to target to. It's something that you can imagine. And once the right time comes, then that even my boss will be telling you.
Thank you very much. Any other question from the floor? Miyajima from Factor. Mr. Son has an insight in technology and wait until opportunity comes and wins eventually. And how excited Mr. Son is at the moment about AI. Goto-san, in your presentation, you mentioned a lot of things about AI, but if Mr. Son was here, what would he say about AI? I'm sure there are still risks. You mentioned that Mr. Son might share his view at AGM, but excitement that Mr. Son has, can you share with us? Well, if I talk too much, Masa might give me hard time, but excitement, I think is tremendous excitement he has. In the last 6 months alone, 6 months ago, generative AI, I don't think many people heard about generative AI or knew generative AI. But still, he had too many things to start around AI. And he was excited as much as when he launched the company. And sometimes I'm worried if he has time to sleep because rapid growth and the development of generative AI and AI itself, I think I can't explain clearly how excited he is, but I spend time with him every day, and I try not to be overwhelmed by him too much.
Next question, pink shirt gentleman, please. Imaza from Mainichi newspaper. Regarding WeWork, I have one question, and also one question about Alibaba. So start with WeWork. In a financial report in page 7, 600 billion additional loss has been recorded. And I believe there are some loss in the past. And cumulatively, how much loss has been made? That's one question. And after April, I believe that the convertible bonds exchange has been made after April. There are new kind of a development there. And how that is impacting to the first quarter for your consolidated results. As for investments, I would say about 111 billion, of which remaining is 400 million. And other than that, some loss on guarantee, majority of them are on the fourth quarter of fiscal 22, and that's been already recorded in the fourth quarter of fiscal 22. So total loss, cumulative loss, how much was that? $1.some trillion is investment, and some bad debts. Maybe I should get the correct information and come back to you. So in April, with your restructuring, is there any impact to your consolidated base? That's after April. depends on after April. For investments, depending on the share price after then, on page 7 of financial report, for April 23rd, you have done something, and that's that going to impact? That's after because of Alibaba shares that you've been able to convert your business to the investment company. Can you give us a summary of the past 20 years? So these numbers are the performance of the investments, which I think this historical number that we rarely see, and they brought us tremendous contribution, and they were a great friend of ours. And Jack has been serving as a board director for quite a long time as well, and a great friend for Masa as well. And at the same time, while there are some challenges in Chinese market, they became a good bridge for us so that we were able to learn and experience a lot in Chinese market too. Alibaba themselves, in the very beginning of the business, they were just exploring what kind of business model they should be establishing. And actually, we were working along with them. And because in a great and huge market in China, what happened if we do this and do that? And they set up the hypothesis and executed by Jack Ma. That's why I believe they became such a great success in their became a huge group, and we were able to spend the same time with them, which was a tremendous experience for us. I have been there at the headquarters of Alibaba for over 20 times or so, and we have so much appreciation for them. And this is not the end of the story of our relationship. Actually, Jack, Alibaba groups, we believe that we would like to be in a good relationship with them too.
In the interest of time, this will be the last question from the floor. Now we'd like to take questions from Zoom participants. Please refrain from connecting to other live stream to avoid any echoing. First, Inagaki-san from Financial Times. Inagaki from Financial Times. Thank you for taking my questions. To Goto-san, presentation, you mentioned a lot about geopolitical risks, and you also mentioned that there's no solution. That's why you are very concerned about geopolitical risks. Against those risks, how are you going to address them? Of course, geographical is what you are doing, but as risks can get bigger, how are you going to address those risks, and where, from your perspective, those risks might be presented? Thank you. Global supply chains have been disrupted by Russia's invasion into Ukraine. Business person like us was surprised based upon the belief that people are born good, not born evil. Although we believe that humankind can find a solution to address such risks, But we have done a lot of sensitive studies on our assets. What if our assets went down by 50%, which, by the way, we are still safe even though assets value went down by 50%. So what we are doing is to make sure that we are ready for any risks that could happen. And we quantify risks and use that information as judgment is very important. Of course, China is something that we are concerned about from a geopolitical perspective, but Russian-Ukraine issue is the biggest.
Thank you. And next question is Mr. Nagoshi from NHK. Please unmute and start your question. Yes, this is Nagoshi speaking. Can you hear me okay? Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for taking my questions. So there are some speculations or articles regarding Fortress sales. What is your approach on your Fortress? And another question is about yesterday's Miyakawa-san's presentation. So also that you would like to create the GPT new company, and the Softbank Group is also involved in this discussion. So what is the process for your creations of a Japanese version of the GPT? So Fortress, I have no comments on that. I don't think we can make any comments about that. And for yesterday's Miyakawa's presentation, and there are many comments and remarks, and I hope that you kind of understand from what he said. Because this is just a couple of months movements, creating companies or either in Japan, or there are lots of discussion going on, and many movements are done. But that's not only by SoftBank Corp, KK itself, but also Masa himself is involved in the discussion too. So the discussion just begins. And coming back to WeWork cumulative loss amount, 11.5 billion and the 0.9 billion provision. So 12.4 billion in total. That is all. Thank you. Nagoshi-san speaking. So what is your ultimate goal? Do you have any specific ideas or views for the goal? I want you to have a good expectation on